Everybody, this is Matt Harris with Verado. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about building a data warehouse. I know that's super exciting. It's really exciting for me. Data warehouse, data lake, essentially. On my screen is a visualization of what a tech stack might look like and how to build an integrated system with a data lake or a data warehouse and some visualization tools and some AI stitched on there. All really cool in my mind. But one of the reason I'm talking about this is there's a couple things. One of the big challenges of businesses is getting the data off their systems into a single data warehouse and then being able to make sense of all that data. And also keeping that data private. I think one of the biggest concerns with businesses is that they're essentially leasing functionality from technology providers. So they're leasing functionality from Salesforce, they're leasing functionality from Shopify, they're leasing marketing from Google and Facebook. And that's great. Those platforms were great. They function really well, but they get the lion's share of the data and they'll present some of it to you or a lot of it to you, but you can't get data from one system to line up with data from another system. And now your whole business, it's hard to visualize everything that's going on. In addition to that, some of these platforms are leased. So a leased SaaS platform might work great now. It might do everything you need it to do, but there could be some time in the future where you want to replace that system. And now you're stuck with, wait a minute, what happens to my data? So the idea of the data being private is a couple things. Some people don't need to know what your data says. So there'll be proprietary data that you have in your ERP system or wherever it's coming from that another system they don't need to know about. So your Oracles of the world and your Shopifys of the world and your Salesforces of the world, these huge corporations that build amazing software that you're using, they don't need to also own your data. They're going to need some of your data and they're going to help you create some of your data, but that data is your data. And that data, frankly, is the power that is going to drive your business forward in the future. Your data is essentially the equity that you have in your business that will drive your business in the future. It is your oil that's going to run the machinery of your business into the future. And the value of that oil is dependent on the quality of the oil and the quantity of the oil in some repository where you can access it and make sense of it. So if you have a lot of cool data in Google Analytics and a lot of cool data in Shopify and a lot of cool data in Salesforce and a lot of cool data in your ERP, that's great. But what's even better is if you can put all of that data in one huge database, what they call a data lake, and then you can model that. Now you own it. That's on your server. You own it. Only you can see it. Whoever you want to see, whoever you want to see it can see it in your company. And now you can model and normalize that data to get reports on what's going on comprehensively across all these disparate systems in one dashboard. In addition to that, now that you have all of your data in one big, huge database and big data lake, you can bring in AI to build intelligence on that data. Once you can feed that data into AI, there's all kinds of things you can learn. And I would say there's all kinds of things that you can learn that you don't even know about yet. There's AI tools that haven't been built yet that are going to need data to get really smart. And if you were smart and got ahead of the game and got all your data centralized, you're going to be able to really leverage the power of AI. So you want to get all of your data in one system. I would strongly argue this. So basically what I'm illustrating here is your tech stack, which I've broken into your marketing channels, your sales channels, your CRM, your PIM, and your ERP. This is a typical kind of stack for a company that's selling a lot of products. Now, this could be B2C, D2C, B2B, it doesn't matter. You're a business, you have stuff, you sell that stuff. You sell that stuff to one group of people or maybe lots of groups of people, and you're selling it through lots of different channels, and you're finding people to buy the stuff on lots of different tools like Facebook, Google, TikTok, Bing, Reddit. You might have sales channels that are on Amazon. You've got an e-commerce site on Magento or another one on Shopify, Walmart, Supply House, eBay, Home Depot. A lot of businesses can relate to this. There's a lot of people watching this podcast that know exactly what I'm talking about. Then you might have a sales department that's just stuck in your CRM. All they do is interact with Salesforce, and you got 20 sales reps going around selling your products directly through their sales processes, but their data is stuck on their CRM. And then you've got all this really cool data normalized for your products in your PIM system, but that's not necessarily talking to all these other systems either. Or it could be, but whatever. You have another set of data that the marketing department works on and the operational department works to get it all nice and clean. It's all organized in this PIM, but then it's just in the PIM. You might be sending it out to your sales channels, but it's not also lining up with maybe some of the other data that's coming in from the order flow. Right? These orders, this product's now being sold, and they're sold in these different ways. And so it'd be nice to have this all line up. And then the mothership of the business is your ERP. So ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, it's basically the brains of your business. It's your accounting system and all the other stuff, inventory, warehouses, all that good stuff. Your PIM system is your product information management system. Just refreshing people on what these terms mean. CRM is customer relationship management. Usually that's for sales enablement. So your sales team uses that. I think marketing channels and sales channels are also self-explanatory. Smart companies are going to be figuring out how to get this data off these platforms and into a single system that they own. The power of that is that all the systems in one single database. Now you can model this database so that the data from your sales channels and your marketing channels and your CRM start to line up, and you can make really cool, smart reports, and you can impress your bosses, and they're going to be really happy. How did you get this to work? That's going to have huge benefits. But then a couple other big benefits. I mentioned the AI piece. That's going to be a huge benefit. But the other benefit is that when you decide to change systems, let's say you decide to switch out your CRM, you're no longer happy with Salesforce, you want to go with HubSpot. Salesforce is too expensive. They changed their licensing agreement. Get rid of Salesforce, boom, bring in HubSpot. You just switch them out. All of the Salesforce data is stored in your data lake. So you just switch out your Salesforce, take your data lake data, shoot it back into HubSpot, boom, you're up and running. Same thing with your ERP. You want to switch out your ERP. Everybody knows how disrupting that can be. ERP systems are very complicated to re-platform, but some businesses have to do it. I would argue a lot of businesses should do it. I'd say a lot of businesses have to do it because they're on some outdated system. But if you have this data lake built, if you have this framework built, you have all of your data in these other systems already, except for maybe some of your financial data. So you have your PIM system, the product data is in there. So now you've essentially taken the responsibility of this ERP and you've created some redundancy, and you have copies of the data in the data lake, right? So now when you switch out your ERP, it's much easier to take the data off the data lake and zip it into the new ERP. So it gives you ultimate flexibility, because we all know that the future is going to move really fast. The next 5 years, there's going to be massive changes in technology. There's going to be cool new tools that we all want to use, and that data is going to be the king. So stop the habit of letting these big corporations have all your data. That's number one. Get all of your data centralized in one single repository. That's number two. Normalize that data so you can see it clearly and make sense of it. And number three, get ready for the AI revolution. The AI revolution will definitely be powered by data. And if your business has massive amounts of very clean, structured data, you are going to crush it with AI. So that's why I think businesses need to be thinking about this. Also, we don't know what the future holds for some of these platforms. Those license agreements on some of those platforms, they might work now, but they could change the rules. So get yourself independent, take back control of your data, and prepare yourself for the future. So that's essentially what this is. And that's it. That was a pretty simple podcast. Data lake. I've got logos on this stack. I want you to know that all of these can be switched out. The concept is the same. You could be using AWS. It could be Azure. You could be using Sales Layer. It could be PIMCore. It could be Plytix. It could be Akeneo. It could be NetSuite. It could be Dynamics. It could be SAP. All these are interchangeable parts, but what should stay consistent is that the rule for your business becomes, in the future, whatever that system's doing, it's got to push its data into your data lake, and you own that data. All right, Matt Harris here with Verato, Varato. Check us out on wherever you pick up your podcasts, and on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is growing. I'll be putting this out on LinkedIn. Thanks for following. Like us, all that stuff, the people say. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.